So this isn't Forest Park. Yeah, this is another like gated community, private street. So I wonder, that street I was riding down earlier with Pershing, if I was even allowed to do that. You can see this area, very high-end looking too. Those houses on those gated areas are probably even more than the $1 million that I was referring to. Just up ahead should be one corner of Forest Park. And according to online, Forest Park is even bigger in size than Manhattan's Central Park. Thank you. At least we made good timing with that light and crosswalk. So this should be one of the four corners of Forest Park. There's a lot of, here's just like Central Park, according to the map, there's like so many things where you weave in and out. And even though I've researched St. Louis a bit, I have not had time to like thoroughly pay attention to where all these monuments and statues are located. Like up here, I'm sure this is, got some nice significance to it. It says proclaim liberty throughout the land. But I just don't have a good amount of background information. Like I don't even know where the trail is per se. Like if am I supposed to, this is like sort of it looks like a triangled off corner of Forest Park, but I think if I go over to the next spot, that's probably where the main portion of Forest Park is. I also have no clue whether there's like a homeless presence or if the whole park is safe. Being daytime and on a bicycle, I'm not really expecting anything bad. But I guess what I'm going to do is just ride around a little bit, but then I'm going to run into some hiccups. Like for example, over here, there are steps. So I can't ride on the steps. So I'm already going to have to backtrack. Okay. Let's take a look at good old Google Maps. Alright, I think I'll ride along Kings Highway a little bit more, which is the main street, and see if it looks like we might have one of the trails connecting off of there. It's a little bit weird it being the last day of February, and yet the ground over here in this portion almost looks like fall season, because you still have some leaves on the trees, but then there's a lot of leaves on the ground. Excuse me. Central Park in Manhattan makes it obvious where the main biking and walking trail is. And maybe this is their version of it here. There we go. This is what I was looking for. So you've got Central West End on the left, shopping, dining, and entertainment. But then we've got actual marked path here with arrows on both ends. Forgive me when I pause a decent amount of times. I'm snapping some pictures. But before I start this, let me make sure that I actually am recording. Yes. I'd hate to be not recording. And see, like, those guys aren't wearing helmets, and I'm gonna pay more attention to how many people are wearing helmets, even in the Forest Park area, because maybe it's one of those things where, like, no one really cares about it. I don't know. I mean, it's not a bother to me right now. I have it on my head. Nice little tunnel here. Pretty smooth grounds. There's an array of museums here in Forest Park as well, and all of them are free. That includes the St. Louis Zoo, Art Museum, and then the other ones, I know there's a science center, a very large science center if I recall correctly. Some form of history museum, but I forget if it's a Missouri history or natural history type of museum. You can see one of the lakes down there, reservoir type of areas. Alright, so that outer trail now seemed to take us to the inner trail. Oh, here we go. Got a little bit of a map. The outer paved gravel surface path is approximately 5.6 miles around. Sorry, let me move this camera down. So we are here. We started like around here. We took I guess this is the asphalt connector path. Then you've got this asphalt loop. This red one. Is that right? but then the asphalt connector path. And then let's try to get a guide of where we're at. So the skating rink was here. I guess we missed that. I swear, like I rode right by it and I was looking to my left and right. We've got planetariums further down. Science center, so you've got the science themed things here. Police stables, aviation fields. Number 12 is Parks Department. 8, Jewel Box. 10, Nature Playscape. 20 is World's Fair Pavilion. I think the World's Fair was here like a century ago. 21 is the zoo. So this whole big area is the zoo. Number 1 is the Art Museum. 15, a golf course. Number 5, a Grand Basin. A boathouse. Let's see here. Number 9, something called Muni. 11 is Pagoda Circle. 18, Tennis Center. 19, Visitor and Education Center. And number 7, the History Museum. Okay, so you kind of got like museums in this corner, zoo and museum over here, and then the history museum there. But what route do we want to take? I assume if we're right here, this must be the red path that's in front of us. The blue path is a gravel loop. If it's gravel on the ground, I don't want to ride on that. I think probably the red one would seem good, but here's the tricky thing. I guess you can go either direction. The red loop, if I go this way, would eventually, it would hit the science center, and then I would eventually get to the zoo. So maybe we'll go that way first. Sorry for the long delay, but I was trying to get my bearings here. Let's get ready to try this trail. It's so nice to have this chest mount for recording these type of videos, because back in 2019 when me and my brother rode in Central Park, just making sure I cross the road here safely. But yeah, when we rode in Central Park, I didn't have this chest mount nor this camera that I have. So I was using my cell phone and filming with one hand while having only one hand on the bike with the other one. Definitely not the safest thing to try doing. Maybe that's the gravel path that they were referring to on the right. I assume you can see the... Whoops, I think I didn't change the mode on my camera. Apologies for that. At least I caught it before I rode too far. But this might be the planetarium area. I'm not positive. Yes, it looks like the planetarium is coming up. Oh wait, no, this is the St. Louis Center Science Center for Dinosaurs. And then further up you've got the planetarium. But this is, I think I'd be able to loop around, like once we continue riding on this trail. There's a connector path that takes you a little bit closer up to each of the places. Now see, I'm confused again with my map, because now on the far left there, that says Science Center. Oh, okay, so the St. Louis Science Center is different from the dinosaur one. The St. Louis Science Center is located kind of outside of Forest Park over there. It looks like if I want to pop by the entrance to the planetarium, I can walk over here though. Oh, there. I was being quiet because I'm looking for something. Here's a looking up statue in front of the planetarium by artist Tom Friedman. His work involves the use of crushed aluminum foil and other distorted and distressed metal objects. It was installed here in 2018. And it used to be located, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, at Rockefeller Center Plaza in New York City. Maybe it's still there and there's just multiple versions of it. But let's get a closer look at it. What's the best angle to get a picture of this? The sun is in my way for the picture I'm trying to take. Oh, if I stand right in front of him, there we go. Right here, the sun gets blocked out because he's in the way of it. We've got that there. Interesting, it says the entrance here is currently closed for the planetarium, but it also says planetarium open Thursday through Monday. I guess it's irrelevant. The planetarium must be closed on Tuesdays. There's a Blue Angels plane up here too. Let's see, maybe we can check that out. Can kind of take a shortcut up this grass hill. Pretty nice to see one up close and personal. Blue Angels, I'm always used to seeing them at Labor Day. I think it's Labor Day, right, where they fly around and they have the air shows. Another bit of trivia about that looking up guy. It says the artist Tom Friedman wanted people to mimic the statue and gaze in the air and watch birds and whatever else was flying up there. Like maybe a blue angel, right? That kind of ties into the theme. Alright, let's put tilt locked mode back on for the bike. Sorry that I can't give a clearer and like confident tour, so to speak. This is one of those things where, you know, you truly am exploring for the first time. So if you haven't been here before, hopefully it feels like you're along for the ride, the confusion, the fun. Alright, that looks like the gravel path. So we want to get back to the main bike trail before we hit our next stop. A lot of baseball fields here to our right. These look like a bunch of little greenhouses on our right. I wonder if this is the thing they're calling the jewel box. I didn't know this much of the trail would be running like along the highway. I mean, it's fun to ride the trail, but it almost feels like you're not in Forest Park right now. It just feels like you're doing a bike trail to get from point A to point B. Maybe right here we'll cut back into like the park-like setting. I was gonna say I wanted to use the momentum from that hill, but I also want to check where I'm at on the map now. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of a detour. Well, not a detour, but I mean, we're going off the bike path for a second. And we're going to try to find some of these other attractions that are here. I was trying to see what the easiest way to get over to that. To my left is, there's a nice looking sculpture, and then we're going to also try to check out the World's Fair Pavilion. I don't know if it's decorative. These are a bunch of animals that are sculpted, like I see penguins, various fish, crab, and other animals over on this side. Elephant, rhino, giraffe, turtle, cheetah. Animals Always is the name of the sculpture. So that's a pretty unique sculpture. I'm pretty sure we're very close to the zoo. So I keep changing my plan, because now I think I'm, instead of seeing the pavilion first, I'm going to see if I can find the front entrance of the zoo. Now the bike path that I was on earlier is just to my left. The reason I'm not on it right now is because I think from Google Maps, the zoo entrance, kind of you need to be over here. Yeah, I can see through to the zoo, like Big Cat Country. The zoo's free and it'd be nice to go into, but as well as the other museums, I just don't know timing wise, because I feel like if you go in the zoo, it's not like you just pop in for a couple minutes and then leave. Usually you go there, you should be there for a couple hours, and with me having the bicycle, I sort of want to leverage as much as I can riding around on it. So that's why I think I'll probably pass through and see the outside of these places, but not actually go inside them. You've got the zoo parking lot on the left. Seems like they have a bridge that can connect you over maybe to the parking lot. I'm gonna get up and walk at this spot. So that would be a south entrance. Over there's like an elephant sculpture along with the bridge. Maybe they don't have a gigantic sign that says St. Louis Zoo. But you'd think they would have to, right? If you were gonna take a bike here, they've got the bike racks that you can lock into on the right. Oh, I'd love to get back to the bike trail, but unfortunately, don't think there's a easy way to get there from here. So we'll just ride until we can stumble our way into it again. Oh, I don't know. Over there it says bicycle. Maybe that's the path. That was easier than I expected to get back to it. It's getting pretty warm out. It must just be my body heat. Let me see the temperature. 54 degrees and sunny. I'm stopping here for a second because I wonder if there's a Forest Park sign on the other end of this. Yes, it does say Forest Park. Alright, let me park my park my bike in the grass. I guess I might as well look at my phone real quick. And pretty soon I'm going to take one of these trails to go inward. As opposed to sticking to the outer portion. It's so hard to judge what the distance is on Google Maps when you just peek at it for a second, because it looks like it's far away, but then I think to myself, oh, is it one of these trails right here, which is just like right where I was at. I think it is actually the connecting trail that I want to go to. I'll start off on it. Let's look at the map again. You are here. Yeah, that's the purple trail. All right, it looks good. I know I'm talking to myself here, but so the plan is that I'm going to be hitting the art museum, and then after the art museum, I'll be somewhat close to the World's Fair Pavilion. I think the one thing we'll be missing, which would have been to our left if we stayed on the outside, is maybe the big golf course that's here. That's all right. I don't necessarily need to see the golf course. You can imagine that when it's spring, summer, and fall, and you've actually got leaves on all these trees, how much more enhanced the ride would be. Oh, I'm gonna have to let this person know that I'm behind them. On your left. Thank you. That was a bump. Oh, so funny enough, I'm not missing the golf course. We are actually passing through it. So we would probably see more of it if we went to the outside, but you at least got to capture it on the inside. I'm trying to check as many boxes as I can during this, I guess you want to call it, relatively short time exploring Forest Park, because if you really took your time and like saw everything and went to the museums, you could spend a whole day here. All right, we're at a crossroads again, so let's reference the map. You are here. Well, that can't be right. Oh no, I see what they did. They flipped the map now on us. Yeah, that's confusing. The map that I've been using the whole time, they like reoriented it. So now I have to reference Google Maps to see which route I should take. Yeah, I don't want to go back to the right, so I'm going to go left. Is this the art museum on our left? Or is it further up ahead? Yeah, I think that's the art museum. I'm gonna make a little pit stop here on the right. I'm gonna keep going. I mean, I think it is the art museum, but it sounds like this bike trail is going to lead us near one of the parking lots by the art museum. And then I believe on the right side here is also parking for the zoo. So maybe that was like the south and back entrance of the zoo we saw earlier. Maybe this is the front entrance. So I'll be curious if there's a bigger sign. I'm detouring off the bike path to go over to what I think is the front of the St. Louis Art Museum. Now, even though the museums are free, you do have to park when you're paying or going in these lots, like public parking $10, but if you're a member, $5. So just something to be aware of if you venture out here. Yes, the museums themselves are free, but you know, a lot of people aren't going to be like me. They're not going to take a bike rental down here, or they're not going to take the bus and walk all the way. Whoa, I didn't know there was a big water area over here. You probably can't see it on the footage yet, but I'll be sure to show it. Let's take the camera off the gimbal here. And go back to first person mode. You've got the entrance to this St. Louis Art Museum there. They're promoting Age of Armor. Some of these places I may charge for special exhibits, I'm not sure. These guys are playing with a drone. But then this is what I was referring to with the big water view and the fountains. And then that's all the way over there is where we started. You remember that one building that was like the corner of Central West End? Here's a view of the art museum without the sun blocking it. I took a couple of pictures. And again, this is free entry. Where I'm actually going to quickly run to, though, as silly as it may sound, is I saw an outdoor tree that is contemporary art. You should be able to spot it, right? So that silver thing over there is an artistic tree. I think that was called like something like the placebo tree, probably. Yeah, placebo was like a fake. And then that hill we saw earlier with the big water was called Art Hill. Speaking of contemporary art, over there on the right there's like a giant plug. This guy is the grounds member riding through. One second, I think I forgot tilt lock mode. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully I'm catching those instances quickly. One time I rode somewhere in Utah for like, I think think 10 minutes with it in the wrong mode, and it ended up pointing the camera directly at the ground. Hello. Okay, where do we go now? I think we're going to be crossing the street, so let's do that. So I could either make a diagonal here. It says 5 minutes, but it's a moderate hill. Or I can go straight and sort of weave my way to it. I don't think it's that much of a difference, but we'll try. I think it essentially wants us to go to the middle, which is just right up here. I think this is the World's Fair Pavilion from a distance. My Google Maps didn't really give me the best advice on getting up here. That's all right, we'll just wheel it up this grass hill. Normally, when I say normally, I mean during warmer weather probably there would be fountains running, so that would make this area even prettier. I'm going to look online and try to narrate a little bit about the World's Fair. And also it has some context about Forest Park. But the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, informally known as the St. Louis World's Fair, was an international exposition held in St. Louis, Missouri from April 30th to December 1st, 1904. Local, state, and federal funds totaling $15 million were used to finance the event. It's about like 210 days with an average of about 90,000 people per day. It says things like wireless telephone, early fax machine, x-ray machines were all introduced at the fair. Other things like electric streetcars, personal automobiles and certain airplanes were introduced as well. And it says the ice cream cone, hamburger, hot dog, peanut butter, and cotton candy were all introduced at the fair. I don't know if all that stuff's 100% true, but that'd be interesting for me to dig deeper into it. But nonetheless, the fact that like all that stuff was there, perhaps it was a case where it like got a big presence for the first time. Now let me try to Google specifically if I can find information about the World's Fair Pavilion. Okay, so this pavilion was built in 1909 with proceeds from the 1904 World Fair. It sits atop Government Hill. It commands a dramatic view of Forest Park. This magnificent open-air shelter has been one of the park's most popular and impressive attractions since it was built in 1909. Forest Park Forever raised $1.1 million to totally renovate the building in 1998. It provides a picturesque setting for company picnics, private receptions, benefits, parties, etc. It's got a catering area, etc. Alright, so that at least provides some context. So imagine the World Fair. It took place at Forest Park. It doesn't mean it was like right at this spot. But I guess the reason that you've got the World's Fair Pavilion named for that is because like the proceeds that came from that eventually helped lead to the construction of this. And now this area, probably if places want to hold big company related things or events, this is like the place to do it at Forest Park. So it's a special attraction in that regard. And once we get to the top, I can already see the nice views that it provides. And I can just imagine in my head how much better these views would be when the trees are all grown and the water fountains are all turned on. I know I could have carried my bike up the hill or up the steps, but kind of offered me some time to research more of the background information. All right, we're here. And that's the view I was referring to. You can see on the ground written St. Louis World's Fair and then Pavilion Plaza. That's all written around the exterior. And then here's the up close shot of the pavilion. Believe it or not, we still have a lot to see in Forest Park. There's a municipal theater association, I believe it's called, where they do some outdoor theater shows. I don't know if they do them this time of year, but I think there will be like a stage presence. And then there's the History Museum, there's tennis courts. Alright, I don't recall if there's another path that goes diagonally. Yeah, I guess this one here. Oh, someone lost their sunglasses. I think that's a boathouse across from me. Yeah, it's a boathouse on the left. So to get to the municipal theater, I do not want to take the bike path. I'm going to keep going straight. Hello. That looks like a pretty shot right there, with a little river running through and then the bridge over. I think this is the front of the Muni where the shows happen. Like you can see Sister Act, I see West Side Story. So I believe it's like outdoor plays and theater. And you can see kind of like way in the background there, like the outdoor stage where the seating goes elevated up. So yes, that's the box office location. There's also a little bit of a Hall of Fame section here. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't want to push going any further because it looks like that gate would normally be closed. But I think you would, if you were going up to a show, you would keep going that direction. Taylor Kindle River, that's the small river that we were passing over. Now let's try to check out these tennis courts and the History Museum. Just updating my Google Maps. That is not the right spot that it's guiding me to. One second here. It sounds like the tennis courts don't open until 4 o'clock p.m. Maybe that's because, you know, people, it's usually when work is ending, people play them in the evening time. Now I want to keep going just a little bit further. then make a turn in the parking lot here. And then a left down Grand Drive. Oh, they're doing construction here. Please consider alternative route. Well, I guess my alternative route is going to be walking through the grass because I don't want to cross the river. Here's all the nice tennis courts. I mean, it keeps going on and on down that direction. This says like court 18. So yeah, if you're a tennis fan, this is probably a big hopping spot in St. Louis. To play games. I don't know if it's open to the public once it, I mean, I would think it is, since all these museums are free. I would think it is open to the public, but you never know. To our left is the History Museum, which I believe is the last big attraction that we haven't gone by in Forest Park. at this. The Missouri History Museum, Jefferson Memorial, and then a big St. Louis Rocks sign. Over there I see a metro shuttle. I'm not sure what that's like, if that shuttles you around Forest Park or not. Wait a minute, this is the path I just came from. So I want to see if there's another path. We've got our map over here. Sorry, I'm going like every which way. You are here. I could take Asphalt Loop. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Asphalt Loop. It's not painted with the lines like it was earlier. This is the loop that I very first started on when I entered. I look over here on the right, that's like looks like the field goal post. Maybe that's a football field, unless it's for soccer. So if I had to give my impressions of Forest Park, definitely big, definitely feels safe. It's nice. You know, if you're in St. Louis, I would think it would be something enjoyable to see. And if you live here, it's something to, you know, regularly come for exercise and being able to peacefully relax. But if I was strictly comparing like Forest Park to Manhattan Central Park to me was still like way more iconic. Like I enjoyed this park, but I didn't think like, oh, this is iconic. You know, at Central Park there's like so many areas, and I think it's because, you know, it's literally embedded within the biggest city with all those tall buildings. You just, like, no matter where you are in Central Park, you get such a unique, crazy shot. of the location you're immersed in. This one's just, you know, a very large park, so to speak. Just thought that was a nice view on the left of the lake. And you sort of like see at this spot right here where you actually are close to the buildings and can see them a little bit. Yeah, then it's like, all right, this feels cool. But you gotta also remember Manhattan, you've got like every building being 4-5 times as tall as these, or even way higher than that. For this area, it says restoration in progress. Like, it looks like they tore down a good amount of I don't know if it was trees or plants. I do see cut down trees in the background. Remember earlier when I missed the ice skating rink? Here you go.
Oh my god,
Alright, so I believe just up ahead here is the lake that we saw to our right when I very first got to like this inner loop area of Forest Park. And I had to make a decision, like, do I go left or do I go right? And this seems to be one of the bigger parking lots behind it. And the water is very bright blue. You can see people fishing there too. Well, that's a great shot right there with the Let's go up to the water a little bit. So I'm thinking I'll probably end the Forest Park video here because we've covered pretty much everything. I didn't go over to like where the Science Center would have been, but we kind of saw in the vicinity of where it was located. But we've at least circled the entirety of Forest Park, and we saw earlier the Central West End neighborhood. And now it's 2:30, so I am pretty hungry. So I'm going to try to find something in the area for lunch. I don't know if I'll include that in this bonus footage at the end of this. I could, but if I don't, either way, if you enjoyed this long video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.